Okay, thank you very much. And thank you very much again for the opportunity to present my second research. So as you said, that the title of my presentation is Internationalization of Higher Education, Perspectives on the Use of English as a Medium of Instruction Policy in Tunisia. So this is the plan of my presentation. First, I will start with the general background of the study and the aim, one of the main aims of my research. Second, I will move to the language to present the language situation in the Tunisian higher education context, then language policies background in Tunisia. Then I will give an overview of the methodology of my research. After that, I will present the preliminary results, concluding remarks. So the background of my research stems from internationalization, which has become essential in higher education to prepare institutions for participation in the global environment. And one of the internationalization policy is the use of English as a medium of instruction. This policy policy used mainly at universities to continue the path of internationalization. So one of the aims of my research is to explore Tunisian teachers and students' attitudes towards the use of English as a language of instruction in higher education and the expected results. Okay, before moving to the study, I need to give an overview of the language situation in Tunisian higher education. As you can see here from the figure, we have three languages. We have Arabic, French, and English. So Arabic is the official language. French is considered as a second language in Tunisia and even in Tunisian higher education, but it doesn't have a clear status. English is seen as a foreign language. So, but in the context of higher education, Arabic is marginalized. It is only used in teaching the Arabic language and Islamic studies. French is the dominant language of instruction. French is used to teach the rest of subjects at university. And English is in a state of revival since it has become a medium of instruction in 3 higher education institutions in Tunisia. From the figure, we can see that there is a kind of rivalry between Arabic and French on the one hand, and between French. So from the language situation in Tunisia, we can say that in Tunisia, we have the typology of bilingualism. As language policies in Tunisia, we have typology of bilingualism in which Arabic and French are used as languages of instruction in higher education. But recently, as I said, English or the situation of English has promoted and it has become a medium of instruction in higher education. So we have 3 language policies. We have Arabization, the protection of the Arabic language, the preservation of French, and the promotion of English. So for this study, this is the main research question. What are Tunisian university teachers and students' perception towards the promotion of the status of English and its use as a medium of instruction in higher education? To answer this research question, I used a questionnaire about the recent states of English in Tunisia and perceptions on promoting it in higher education. The language of the questionnaire was written in English and then it was translated into Arabic, the native language of the participants. The questionnaire has 3 parts: background information, closed-ended questions, and open-ended questions. To validate my questionnaire for the piloting, I used the Think Aloud protocol for the content validity, and I used Chromebox Alpha to test the internal consistency of the questionnaire items. It's important to note here that in this presentation, I'm only focusing on the open-ended questions. And I will present some results from the open-ended questions, which are about use of English as a medium of instruction and the expected results of using this policy in Tunisian higher education. So these are the open-ended questions. What do you think about developing the status of English in Tunisian higher education and why? according to you, how can we develop the status of English in Tunisian higher education? What do you think about using English as the language of teaching at Tunisian universities, and why? In your opinion, what are the expected results of using English to teach courses at Tunisian universities? So the informants of my research are 143 males and 57 females. Their age ranged from 21 to 45. We have 55 teachers and researchers, and we have 45 students. The native language of the informants is Arabic. Okay. For data analysis, I tried to use the constant comparative method, and I relied on Thomas's 2009 constant comparative method. The constant comparative method has different stages. First, I tried to explore the data, to read the data, to highlight important ideas that are relevant to my research objectives. Then I tried to identify constructs, time to identify constructs, then to refine the temporary constructs. Then I try to identify some common themes and sub-themes. And at the end, after identifying themes and sub-themes, I move it to the analysis and the interpretation, showing the interconnection and the relation between themes and sub-themes in the analysis. So according to the preliminary results, I found that there are some themes like the importance of English, the dominance of French, ways to promote the status of English, benefits of the use of English as a medium of instruction, and challenges in implementing English as a medium of instruction. In my presentation, I will just focus on benefits of English as a medium of instruction and the challenges. So, for the benefits of the use of English as a language of instruction, I found some sub-themes like improving the levels of the students for employment, job opportunities, career development, developing academic research, improving the quality of education in Tunisia, and better recognition of Tunisian degrees and better rankings of Tunisian universities. Okay, we are going to see these sub-themes, the quotes, yes, of my participants. So, for example, for improving the levels of the students, these are some quotes. It's important here to say that it's true that the questionnaire was in English and I distributed it in Arabic, the native language of the participants, but I must say that I received a lot of responses in Arabic, French, and English, the three languages. That's why here I used the English translation. So, for example, here we have an argument from one of the participants regarding improving the levels of the student. It's in French. Je suis pour l'utilisation de la langue anglaise dans les universités tunisiennes comme manière de base pour que le niveau des étudiants devienne mieux. So, I'm for the use of the English language at Tunisian universities as an official subject to improve the levels of students. So, in my analysis, it's true that I try to identify themes and sub-themes according to the constant comparative method, but I also try to identify some features. I didn't just rely on the content, but also on grammatical features, syntactic features in order to support my analysis. But in this presentation, I'm just showing to you the themes and sub-themes. So the second sub-theme is developing academic research. And again, we have another quote in French, but I will just read the English translation. So the use of English, the English language as the language of instruction can contribute to the development of scientific research because it's necessary language for publications and conferences. So most of my informants see that English is important for academic research because in Tunisia, English is the language of academic research. All publications or conferences are in English, and researchers in Tunisia are obliged to publish and present their research in English. Okay. I'm sorry, I cannot Okay, so the other sub-theme is job opportunity. That will help people not only with the language itself, but also with finding the job. So English is seen as a way to help graduates opportunities abroad. It is also important to improve the quality of education in Tunisia, promotion, development of the quality of teaching, and at the international level, English or using English as a medium of instruction is good for better recognition of Tunisian degrees and better rankings of Tunisian universities. Improving the status of English will lead to the recognition of Tunisian degrees at the international level. This will also lead to better ranking of Tunisian universities. So from the results, we can see that there are some benefits of the use of English as a medium of instruction, but my participants also pointed to some challenges that can prevent the use of English as a language of instruction. So for the other theme, which is about the challenges, I also found other sub-themes, including teachers' lack of proficiency, students' lack of proficiency, lack of materials, no pedagogic strategies, and no clear language education policy. So now we will try details. So for teachers' lack of proficiency and student lack of proficiency, this is one of the quotes. It's in Arabic, but I tried to translate it into English. I think the first challenge is the linguistic challenge, which is the lack of proficiency of those teachers and learners in the English language. So language proficiency is one of the obstacles that can prevent the use of English as a language of instruction. The other obstacle is lack of materials, because, as I said, that French is the dominant language in the Tunisian higher education context. So most of materials are in French. So we need to rethink about how to create new materials in English. And this is one of the quotes. It's not possible to use English as a language of instruction because all teaching materials are in French. Even the teaching system is in French. Okay, so for pedagogic challenges, no pedagogic strategies, there will be pedagogic problems which will affect the way of transferring knowledge, but with well-trained teachers, it will be positive results, especially in the academic field, because all scientific publications are in English. So there are some pedagogic, challenges, which is linked to the lack of qualified teachers in using English as a medium of instruction, which is also linked to the lack of resources, teaching materials. Okay, the other sub-theme is the absence of clear language education policy because of dominance of English. So in Tunisia, language policy is not clear, as I showed from the language situation. So it's true that Arabic is the official language, but French is the dominant language and English is in a state of promotion. So we don't have clear documents, language policy documents that show the states of these languages. And we don't have, let's say, tools to promote the states of English or regulations from policymakers, regulation from the government or from the Ministry of Higher Education to promote the states of English. And we can also see from the language situation in Tunisia that there is a mismatch between the needs of local stakeholders, the needs of students and researchers and teachers, and the decisions of policymakers. So according to the Ministry of Higher Education, French is the dominant medium of instruction, but at the same time, they oblige researchers and university teachers to publish their studies and to present their research in English. So there is a kind of mismatch. There is kind of arbitrary language policy. There is a kind of, it's not clear language policy in Tunisia, and my informants, considered it as one of the challenges that can prevent the implementation of English as a language of instruction. So from the preliminary results, we can find that there is a positive attitude towards the use of English as a language of instruction, but the informants pointed to challenges, including linguistic challenges, pedagogic challenges, and language policy issues. So to conclude, we can say that most discussions of medium of instruction policies reveal that their aim are to promote best academic research practices, enable universities to continue a path towards becoming a reputable academic institution and having universal rankings. But there are a number of challenges that impede the successful implementation of English as a language of instruction. So there is a need here, especially in Tunisia, to rethink about the needs of students and instructional language policy in higher education, and try to find a compromise between linguistic needs and political decisions. So educators and policymakers in Tunisia must make deliberate efforts to meet the needs of the students and teachers concerned. So we need to fill this gap between local agents and global agents. Local agents, yes, and global agents, to fill the mismatch between top-down decisions and bottom-up needs. Okay, these are some references that I relied on. Thank you very much for your attention.